It is Thursday, July 3rd. It is time to get in the weeds. I'm Jeremy Lambert. That is SP3. We are one day shy of FKD Day. No other important date is on July 4th. SP3, how you doing?
Wow, I didn't expect to hear FKD right off the bat, but yeah,
I'm censoring myself, you know?
that's nice of you. Yeah, it's a good day. It's a Thursday, so you know what that means. It means we're gonna talk about some AEW Dynamite on today's show. AEW Dynamite 300th episode. I enjoyed, had a good time with the show, so we'll discuss it today, and we'll talk about any of the news. I know that you guys touched on it, but we have some updated Britt Baker news that will always, I think that every day we'll get a new update on Britt Baker, and that it's going to be basically like a weather report, and it's the Britt Baker report every single day until she either shows back up on AEW TV or leaves the company. It's either or. The AEW has an option to end all of this by making one decision or another. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about any of the other news. And of course, it's time to talk about your favorite thing on a Thursday. Your favorite thing in the world. The favorite thing, the best bit on In the Weeds outside of when Jeremy is talking Ring Evolution Nations or when I am going on a rant. Check out the latest cut from In the Weeds from Tuesday's episode if you like rants. Uh it is, of course, C-Suite Thursday. You know it, baby. C-Suite Thursday. But we also, we're not just a wrestling podcast on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're also an NBA podcast. If you are not aware of that, check out Tuesday's episode where we talked more about the NBA than actual professional wrestling. That is our goal for every episode because the ITW GM requested that.
Let's get the Britt Baker breaking news out of the way.
That's it. That's the name of the bit. That's the name of the daily bit on In the Weed. The Britt Baker breaking news.
It's a tongue
The Triple
twister.
B news.
It's a tongue twister there. There was a report that from Body Slam that Britt Baker wanted out of AEW. As we mentioned yesterday, she still has over a year left on her contract. Our pal Kimmy has been on the show multiple times explaining this. It feels like the same report, but here it is from Fightful Select. Britt Baker is still in AEW, and that doesn't appear to be changing anytime soon. There were reports that Britt Baker wanted out of AEW after she shared an inspirational quote about the value of a bottle of water depending on where you go. After the report, Britt replied to an Italia comment on the post of the inspirational quote and said, "Careful, Natty, the dirt sheets out of a field day," with a crying emoji and a heart. Those that we spoke to familiar with Britt's situation said that the idea of her wanting out of AEW or even communicating that to AEW was news to them and that they had never heard anything resembling that. Beyond that, it was noted to us that Baker frequently shares and comments on posts from that page that she shared this week. Those in AEW we spoke to say they haven't been told that on the occasion that they see her on the convention circuit. As of now, we're told that she hasn't been booked for StarCast, but have no idea if she's expected to be in Dallas at All In. To be clear, Britt Baker still has well over a year left on her AEW contract. With possibility of injury time, there's a chance she could be under contract into 2027. Baker was slated for a match with Serena Deeb late last year, but nobody cared. That's not what the report says. Baker was slated for a match with Serena Deeb late last year that didn't come to fruition. AEW sources claim Baker had been open to returning to AEW TV, but there have been holdups and conversations to bring her back, but didn't hear which side caused that or any details surrounding such. There had been internal discussion regarding Baker being brought back for a prominent match at Double or Nothing, but we aren't even sure that made it back to Baker. Every source that we reached out to vehemently denied that Baker was actively trying to get out of the company. So, there we go, folks. That is your Britt Baker breaking news. I'm sure we will have more tomorrow when the story.
About the graphics department. Like, we need graphics for Britt Baker Bacon News. We need graphics for the C-suite. All they have to do is get one of my renditions of the theme song and then just put pictures of LFG and Evolution on it. That'll be perfect. And whatever other segments you guys do on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, like we need graphics so we can do a bumper. You got a bumper for Vanilla Baby. You got a very good. You got a very good bumper for Giannis Antetokounmpo, which is excellent. It's the best bumper that you have. You got bumpers for Chris Jericho. Like, what are we doing?
Those aren't bumpers. Those are more drops than
drops, bumpers.
Yeah, because I make them. We're a 3-man operation here. SP3,
This
you
is
know
true.
this. If I don't make it, Joel does the thumbnails. I do literally everything else. I'm the one making the shorts. I'm the one clipping everything.
This is true. I shouldn't be talking. I don't do anything except show up on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I did promote in the weeds I was on the Wrestling's podcast that drops tomorrow. Nice. Yeah, I went to the studio, hang out with the guys. Wrestling's, they're doing great work. Check them out. They're probably, in my opinion, the best UK wrestling podcast out there. The brothers, the Mandem, had a good time with them, and I promoted in the weeds.
I like them because they have the studio thing.
Yeah,
and I always think shows are easier if you just have all your pals in the studio getting together and just bullshitting about wrestling. So they're very fun to listen to. When they do interviews is when I listen to them most, but I've also just seen like clips and everything. As discussed yesterday, I don't listen to wrestling podcasts.
This is true. I actually did my first time that I did a podcast live in person with Sadie Niangi.
Oh, you saw Sad? Tell Sad.
Yeah, did it with Sad.
Hello.
I will.
Vala does send us a super chat. Speaking of our bumpers here, Vala says, "Vanilla fumble."
I'm vanilla, baby.
Is what we call when I have a bumper before SP3. It's kind of true. Vala does have.
It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
The vanilla baby bumper. I'll get around at some point to making a bumper, but again, I'm the only person who does stuff. I need other people to do stuff. I need to hire somebody. We don't have money to hire anybody.
I come up with ideas. I'm an idea guy. Yeah. I can't really, execute some of my ideas or don't have the time to do it, but I can come up with ideas. Like C-Suite can just be, an LFG logo, an Evolve logo, me singing the C-Suite theme song.
That's probably all it would be.
And then me going through all of Nikita Lyon's nicknames.
That would be good. It'll just be the theme song that you singing the theme song with the LFG and an Evolve logo. That's probably what it would be.
That's
Maybe
perfect.
I'll make it. Maybe I'll surprise you next week.
That's perfect.
For the bumper.
That's perfect. You got a couple of weeks. I won't expect it next week, but 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks.
I'll take bare bones. Yeah, bare bones. Bare bones. I don't care. I want something.
Better get it done within 2 weeks. Oh, fair. All right, let's annoy everybody and talk basketball. We did wrestling. We did a Britt Baker breaking news. Well, first, if you're here, leave a thumbs up on the video. Let's see if we can get fireworks going. 4th of July, they're like, no, we ain't shooting off these fireworks early.
No, they're not too early. They're not like they're from the Bronx.
Yeah, they were shooting fireworks last night. I was like, what are y'all doing? Doing fireworks on July 2nd? What is
in the Bronx? They do it from like Memorial Day to July 4th.
What? I don't get it. I don't get all these let's shoot fireworks way too early for this stuff. Leave a thumbs up on the video, folks. Subscribe to the channel, folks. And send a super chat like Vala did. You can send a super chat and get your question, comment, statement read on the air. You also win XP points. And the top XP pointer, whoever wins the XP one, they get a cameo from Brian Alvarez. That's right. A cameo from a different wrestling personality is what you win by being the top XP commenter on this show. Look at this. The chat's popping when we get to the basketball. They don't care about wrestling around here. They don't care.
Like, bump that. Bump that. We got news to discuss.
Yeah.
We got to talk about the dominating
Oh
reclamation project, baby. The dominating reclamation project. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. You hear the enthusiasm in my voice? I almost have as much enthusiasm as when I'm talking LFG and Evolve. Dominating. We got ourselves a center. We got ourselves a center who just led a team 4 years ago to an NBA final.
Just led a team 4 years ago.
Just led a team 4 years ago to
former number one overall pick. Yeah.
Former number one overall. What other teams? What other teams nowadays got two of the top three from the 2018 NBA draft? Two of the top three. Come on, y'all. Come on, yeah. LeBron James, the greatest 40-year-old of all time.
OKC only has the number 11 pick in 2018 and an undrafted player from that draft. So clearly they're not doing well.
LeBron James, the greatest 40-year-old of all time. You got Luka Doncic, top five MVP candidate, top 5 in the NBA today. Luka Doncic. You got JJ Redick, coach of the year candidate, coach of the year finalist.
I guess that's true.
Man.
Allegedly.
Come on, man. Los Angeles. 4th. We got the 4th best odds to win the West. 4th best. We went from 5th to 4th. That is improvement. We are top 5 and we ain't 5. You heard it here for us. Darius Carter, number 5, BRP 50. Lakers, number 4 in the NBA odds to win the Western Conference. Behind the Nuggets with Cam Johnson, and behind the Rockets with KD and Dorian Finney-Smith. Oh, Dorian, I'll miss you. And the Oklahoma City Thunder, who just won the NBA championship. Which means we are the odds-on favorites, guys, to make it to the semifinals. We're odds-on favorites. Which, if we make it to the semifinals, that's an improvement on this year. So we got better.
Where were the Pacers at on the odds before last season?
Oh, check it. Let's see. Can you check that? I don't know if that.
I can check it because I don't feel like they were top 10. 2024,
they probably were.
NBA
they just went to the conference finals.
Yeah, but
I think they were top 6 in the East.
In the East, sure. I meant top 10.
Yeah, maybe they're top 10. If they're top 4 in the top 5 in the East, top 6.
All right, preseason odds. The Celtics. This is to win the title. The Celtics, the Thunder, the Knicks, the Sixers, the Mavericks, the Nuggets, Timberwolves, Bucks, Suns, Cavs, Grizzlies, Magic, Warriors, Lakers, Heat, Pelicans, Pacers.
So 12?
They were below the Pelicans?
That was outrageous.
Honestly, it makes sense. I was pretty high on the Pelicans to start the year. But this is what I'm saying with the odds. They don't mean a whole lot.
No, they don't.
The Pacers were below the Pelicans. The Sixers had the 4th best title odds. In the East, the Pacers were Celtics, Knicks, Sixers, Bucks, Cavs, Magic, Heat. They were 8th in the East. So they weren't even top 6 in the East.
Damn, that's disrespectful. That's disrespectful. That's disrespectful.
East.
That's so disrespectful. Why would they do that?
So these odds don't mean a whole lot, honestly. They don't mean a whole lot. But I'm glad the Lakers are 4th in the West.
We've improved. We've improved in the last 24 hours. Are the Lakers better than they were yesterday? Yep, because they got a center. They got a center. All they needed was to get a center. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, you want to see who you should be listening to? This is my preseason preview of the list that we gave in FMC, and I had the Pacers at 5th.
Oh, look at you.
I did have the Sixers at 4th, to be fair, so I'm not that smart. I couldn't envision that going terribly wrong, but I had them in 5th. I write down my stuff because I'm the guy y'all should be listening to. We got people saying, oh, OKC back to back. Like, you're saying something new. I've said this after they won the championship. I said this before last season, and I said it after they won the championship. Yeah, OKC is the favorite to win. All these Knicks fans trying to say, oh, they're going to get LeBron James now. The Knicks is all happy. They got Mike Brown.
Yeah.
Brown. I've never heard a team more excited to get Mike Brown than the New York Knicks.
I'm not like fundamentally against Mike Brown because he's a good coach. He's a stable coach. But if your big plan after firing Tom Thibodeau, who led you to the Eastern Conference Finals, was to bring in Mike Brown, that's where I'm like, you didn't really have a plan.
No.
Because Mike Brown ain't the splashy hire that you make after you fire Tom Thibodeau. If you just want a good, stable coach, you just keep Thibodeau around.
Exactly.
Maybe they wanted a new voice. You know, Mike Brown does like run a good offense. But yeah, Mike Brown just, all right. It'll be fine for the regular season. And then in the playoffs, he'll get outcoached like he always does. Michael Malone, that's the one that baffles me, Zeno Hour. I thought when they fired Thibodeau, I thought it was because they had Malone at the ready. Like, oh, they're 100%
they have Malone, or
Malone.
If they were smart, I understand they want to get an experienced coach, but if they're smart, they would have got Johnny Bryant.
I can't say I know too much about Johnny Bryant.
Johnny Bryant was the old assistant coach for the New York Knicks, who was a success story as an assistant for the Cleveland Cavaliers last year. A lot of people gave him responsibility for being a new voice in the coaching, on the coaching side, that helped them to win those 60 plus games last season. That was the smart hire. It was someone that knew the team very well, that was already a part of the Knicks system. You could have went to the Cavs and they would have let you interview him for a head coaching job, but they wanted a more experienced coach. If you wanted a more experienced coach, Mike Malone won an NBA championship 2 years ago. That is the person you probably should have gone for. To get Mike Brown, I asked the New York Knicks fans of the True Heel Heat contributors, and I did not get. I got answers, but I didn't get any answers that was just okay. So Romeo said, I said, y'all happy with Mike Brown? Romeo said, sure. Ultimately, it's up to Rose improving the bench, which he has. So I was like, that wasn't really an answer. Sure is more like, yeah, I guess. Then we got Josh, who's a little bit more of a logical Knicks fan. He says, I'm mixed about it. Not the worst choice, has the experience and shown what he can do with talent on a team, I guess. But I worry about his approach at times because he puts guys on blast, LOL. I just don't know if he's the answer to do what the Knicks need to be done. The moves the Knicks have done, though, I definitely like. They're stacking up that bench and taking advantage of a weak East. Then we had Chris this morning who agreed with Josh, and he says he's got the championship experience at least and shown he can get the most out of his players. So we praying for the best. Praying for the best for the Knicks. Y'all should know. You should pray for the best and expect the worst.
Mike Brown did call out De'Aaron Fox.
Mm-hmm.
That led to him getting fired. He got fired like the next day. And Mike Brown's fine. He's fine. It's just not anything. If you're going to fire Tibbs, Mike Brown is your...
You need to actually have a plan.
Kings fans got on Mike Brown because he wasn't playing like Keegan Murray enough. They were like, this is who you should be playing more. And then they played him a little bit more, and they played a little bit better. I don't know if Mike Brown is the answer to all your problems. He's not. He's never. The answer has never been Mike Brown. You know, if that's the answer, you got to find new questions. You gotta search for a better answer. It's like a English essay, SP3. You know, because English you can write whatever you want, and then it's graded based on like how good it is. There's no definitive answer.
Yeah.
Like there is in math. Math, you know the answer. English, you can play around a little bit with it. And then if the question is, how should the Knicks upgrade their head coaching spot? And you write Mike Brown. It's like, you get a C for that answer. Yeah. There's a better answer that you could have gone with here.
Yeah. I feel like it's the same answer as the Lakers. You need to upgrade your center position. DeAndre Ayton. Like it's somebody. Yeah. It ain't the person I would have gone for.
He's better than Jackson Hayes. That ain't saying a whole lot.
That ain't saying too much. Ain't saying too much.
He's better than Jackson Hayes.
Yeah. Then the Knicks are have the talent to make it back to the Eastern Conference Finals. Don't get me wrong. They do. They're in a much better position than the Lakers because at least they have a really well put together roster, and they're in a weak Eastern Conference that just lost 3 of like the top 12 to 15 players in the league during the playoffs. So in the conference, in the playoffs. So they're in a much better position to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. That's why I said my projection for the Los Angeles Lakers is semifinals exit. Second round of the playoffs exit with this team as currently constructed, unless we make a deal with the Dalton Connect and draft picks to get an even better. If DeAndre Ayton is our backup and then we get a better center with this trade, then I'm being like, then you'll see me be like, all right, we in the conference finals, baby, we gonna be there. Bump the Rockets. Yeah, the Rockets had the best free agency, but bump that. The Lakers are going to the conference finals. But as currently constructed, we're getting bumped by either OKC, the Rockets, or the Nuggets, or the Timberwolves again.
I think the Nuggets had a better free agency with the Rockets. I don't know if that's a hot take, but that's my take.
Nah, the Rockets had the best free agency.
Here's why I think the Nuggets had a better free agency than the Rockets. Rockets made a massive change with Kevin Durant, and 37-year-old Kevin Durant. Okay, I haven't seen enough of Kevin Durant over these past few seasons to make me believe he is the A1 guy that the Rockets feel that they need. I haven't seen it. What has he done? We've had this discussion. We're not going to rehash this discussion. I'm just not super sold on Kevin Durant being the A1 option on an offense. They're going to need internal improvement, which could happen, which very well could happen. I like the signing of Finney Smith. I like the signing of Capella. Now they have three bigs, which we'll see how that works. Their guard play is iffy. I mean, you got Van Vliet and you got Eamon Thompson. You're going to need Reed Shepherd, who's a rookie, essentially. You're going to need him to step into kind of a big role as a guard. We'll see if that works. They made pretty massive changes, and they're adding a guy who hasn't exactly fit with a lot of cultures and who spends a lot of time on Twitter yelling at people, which is very funny. No, listen. You're telling me Kevin Durant is a culture leader. He's a guy that fits in with culture. Look at what Kevin Durant has done everywhere that he's gone.
He's been in with the Warriors culture for 3 years.
And then what happened?
Until Draymond happened. That's what happened.
And then what happened?
That's
him
Draymond.
And Kyrie.
I blame that on Draymond.
Him and Kyrie got about 3 different coaches fired.
To be fair, the Nets didn't have a culture. They literally were the culture, and he's an erratic human being. So I can't say that he ruined the culture for the Nets. Nets didn't have a culture.
The Suns had something. They had something established.
Yeah,
they were a finals team.
The Suns the only one where you're making a point. But like I said, I don't agree with the Warriors.
I'm making a point with the Nets.
No, you're not. The Nets didn't have what was the Nets culture before KD and Kyrie got there?
You're making my point for me. All right, they didn't have a culture. Then it's up to him to set the culture as the leader of the team. What did he do?
He was very erratic. So
yes, because that's what he does.
He was with another erratic person. He did not come into anything that was established. He is coming into something that was just established last year as one of the best defenses in the league. It was a young team, and the only big weakness that it had is that they had no primary scorer to score the ball when they needed it to be done. Now they have a guy that averages 27 points per game on like 50% from the field, almost 35 to 40% from three, 80 to 90% from the free throw line. He's one of the greatest scorers of all time. That's what they needed. How did they not have the best free agency with that trade, plus shoring up their defense, getting a replacement for Dylan Brooks and Dorian Finney-Smith? They have a 3 big lineup with Steven Adams.
They're not playing those 3 bigs together.
No, they're probably not going to play them, but they have depth. They have depth at the center position, which not a lot of teams have, except for the Thunder with Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren. They can match y'all up with their 3 bigs. They have made their team the biggest threat to the Thunder. I can't even fathom an argument for the Nuggets. The Nuggets have put themselves in the position to be in the conversation with those guys by getting Cam Johnson 100%. But you're not going to tell me there's not a good argument that they've had a better free agency than the Rockets. Rockets is like A plus.
Here's the argument. Cam Johnson's an upgrade over Michael Porter Jr. I know the numbers are relatively similar, but they're relatively similar with Cam Johnson playing with the Nets and Michael Porter Jr. playing with Jokic. Put Jokic with Cam Johnson, watch how Cam Johnson flourishes this season. They got a backup center. They needed a backup center so bad. Those Jokic minutes were god-awful. Absolutely awful. The non-Jokic minutes, sorry. Terrible. They're playing DeAndre Jordan. DeAndre Jordan in the year 2024, 2025. What are we doing out here? They got a backup center. I don't know. I'm not super high on Valanciunas as like a difference maker, honestly. I watched him get destroyed by Chet in a playoff series. He hasn't been impactful in a playoff series. What you need is a guy who eats minutes, who is good, who doesn't kill you when Jokic is off the floor. That's Valanciunas. That's what he does. He's a minutes eater for them, and he's not going to kill them when Jokic is off the floor. They brought back Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown was great on the championship team, 3-and-D guy. Here's why they had a better offseason. They didn't make any sweeping changes to a team that took the Thunder to 7 games. They won a playoff series last year. The Rockets didn't win a playoff series. Not only did the Nuggets win a playoff series, they took the champions to 7 games. Now, do I think the Thunder were the much better team in that series? Yes. Do I think that series goes shorter if OKC doesn't historically choke away game 1, and then game 3, they don't kind of choke away that one as well? Yes. Fact is, it went 7 games. The Nuggets were right there with them. Game 7 could have swung either way. Obviously, it didn't really swing the Nuggets' way at all. But the Nuggets were right there with the NBA champions. They still have the best player in the league. All they needed to do was upgrade the shooting, which they did with Brown and Johnson. They needed to upgrade the bench, which they did with just Brown. And they needed to get a reliable backup center for Jokic, which they did with Valanciunas. They didn't need to make sweeping changes like the Rockets did. I understand the Rockets, Kevin Durant, big name. Oh, they got a scorer now. That's all they needed was a scorer. They got someone to replace Dylan Brooks. The Rockets had a very good offseason. I'm not denying that the Rockets didn't have a fantastic offseason. My argument is that the Nuggets were already closer to the Thunder than the Rockets were, because even though the Rockets finished second, they failed to win a playoff series, while the Nuggets took the Thunder 7, and the Nuggets upgraded in every single position they needed to upgrade in without making big sweeping changes. Because how many times do we see it, SP3? How many times do we see it? The big sweeping splashy offseason move ain't the move that matters in the end. What are the teams that have won championships? It's the teams that have worked around the margins. Hartenstein and Caruso, Porzingis and Drew, right? The Warriors didn't really do anything. The Warriors kind of ran back a similar team, which again goes to my point. You keep in the chemistry there. For the Bucks, just Drew. The teams that keep their core the same are the teams that do well, but they work around the margins and work around the edges. And that's what the Nuggets did. Meanwhile, the Rockets brought in a personality and a player that can blow things up. And he's a great player. He's a great player.
He's not going to blow things up. He wanted to go there. Like
he wanted to go to like 3 different teams.
He wanted to go there. That was the best offer for the Suns, so he says, and he wanted to go there. So
he wanted to go to 3 different teams.
The fact that he wanted to go there and that he made it possible and his people worked on making it possible for him to go there, I think that's a positive sign. And
he wanted to go to Brooklyn.
At the end of the day, I much believe in Ime Udoka over David Aldman. We don't know anything about David Aldman because he only played 3 regular season games. And yes, he was able to have Jokic be the player coach and make it to 7 games in the semifinals, but I gotta see him in a regular season, and I don't have that much faith in him.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you. Don't think he makes it into the 2026-2027 season as the Nuggets coach.
Okay, 2 things. Kevin Durant wanted to go to Brooklyn. He wanted to go to Phoenix. Kevin Durant always chooses where he wants to go. What do you mean? Yes.
I am telling you for a fact, Kyrie Irving wanted to go to the Brooklyn Nets, and he convinced Kevin Durant to go to the Brooklyn Nets. Okay. Kevin Durant didn't want to go to the Brooklyn Nets.
He wanted to go to Phoenix. That was the team that was top of his list when he wanted out of Brooklyn. Kevin Durant always chooses.
I've already given that one up. I could say, yeah, you're absolutely right. He did ruin the Phoenix culture there. But you're not going to tell me he wanted to go to the Nets when I know for a fact from family he did not want to go to the Brooklyn Nets.
Fine. Then that makes my point even more, is that he just goes to wherever the hell he wants to go because, I want to play with Kyrie, and then he doesn't fit in, and then he friggin' gets 3 coaches fired. Second point.
It's not just him.
Second point.
Kyrie wasn't responsible for firing those coach too.
No, Kyrie certainly was.
Exactly. Like this
Second
is this was a two-man power trip. We ain't gonna blame Stone Cold's heel run for not going well just on Stone Cold. It gotta go on Triple H too. Two-man power trip. No, come on.
Kyrie deserves blame as well, because Kyrie, the way he left Cleveland, everything that happened in Boston, yeah. Kyrie's got it together with the Mavericks, but I don't blame Kyrie as well. Second point on Aldman. Regular season. You're worried about the regular season with him? Here's what I know about him. Who did he beat in the first round? Who did the Nuggets beat in the first round?
The Clippers.
Who's their head coach?
Tyronn Lue.
Doesn't everyone praise Tyronn Lue as the greatest coach of all time, despite the fact that he
did do a great job. That roster shouldn't have been fifth in the West.
All right.
That roster with injury-prone superstars and everything, they shouldn't have been fifth in the West. And they still took them what? They took them what, 6, 7 games?
It went 7, yeah.
It went 7 games. So
sure.
If we're going to give the Nuggets credit for taking people 7 games, we got to give the Clippers credit with that roster that should have been even a play-in team, making it to 5th, and then taking the Nuggets with the best player in the league 7 games.
Sure. Fact is, Aldman still won that series. Still outcoached Tyronn Lue. Still got his team to play
Jokic,
better.
I give credit to.
That's fine. Jokic is still on the team. It's not like he's gone. He can still be player coach in the regular season.
I've never seen Jokic be player coach for a whole season.
And Aldman also, again, he went 7 with the Thunder. And they did a lot of things against OKC that was very savvy coaching move in that series with the different defenses they threw at OKC to keep them off balance. They lost that series in part because Alex Caruso is the greatest defender of all time, and because they had to sit Jokic for 3 minutes during the game, and during those 3 minutes, OKC was like, oh, they don't have Jokic out here. We should probably outscore them by 20. And that's exactly what happened. And Valanciunas fixes some of that. Not all of that. Does fix some of that. I'm not worried about Aldman as their coach in a regular season based on what I saw in the playoffs.
I'm worried about it. And also, the biggest point of why the Rockets have had the best offseason and why they're the biggest threat to the Oklahoma City Thunder is because of what I said when we were talking about the Thunder winning and when we were talking about the 2024 Boston Celtics winning. The 2 key factors to those NBA championships was depth and defense, the 2 Ds. And that's what the Rockets have. The Rockets are one of the best defensive teams in the league. And now they have the depth to go along with it. They got a number 1 option to go along with that. And they're a deep team. They can go 1 through 10. They're the only team that can do that. Even with the acquisitions that the Nuggets have, they are a 1 through 8 type of team. They're a 1 through 7 type of team. They're only going to go 7 to 8 deep. The Rockets now have the players to go 10 deep with the Thunder. That's why they match up the best with them. That's why they are considered, to many people, to have the best offseason.
We'll see if their guard play holds up through the season.
I think you're underestimating Amen Thompson. I think Amen Thompson's going to take that next step.
I love Amen Thompson.
He's going to take that next step. He's going to become the secondary option for the Rockets. Sengun can become a great third option, because I do agree with someone in the chat said Sengun shouldn't probably be the second option, and I agree. I think that Men Thompson's going to take that next step, and he's going to be the secondary option next to Kevin Durant. I think Jabari Smith is going to be able to focus more on his defense, and I think that he will be getting open shots with Kevin Durant around, and he's going to get better offensively. I think the team is going to be a better overall offensive team with having Kevin Durant on the court. They have the depth, they got the defense. All they have to do is pick up their offense to even just slightly match up with their defense. I will never believe in the defense of Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic is the best player in the league because he's an otherworldly offensive player. If there was an offensive player of the year, he would win it every single year. But it's MVP that he's going for, and that's why Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was the better player last year, because he's good on defense. Jokic is not good on defense. I've seen it too many times.
This is 100% true, by the way. It's 100% true. Rockets fans are annoying, man. They've been annoying since the Harden and Russ days. They've been so annoying, man. They tried to say a few years ago that their rebuild was going better than OKC's rebuild. All us Thunder fans got the receipts. We got these receipts.
It took them a while, but they got the closest thing to the Thunder rebuild. That's why I bought stock. See, I'm very astute with my stock buying in the NBA team, Jeremy. You got to give me credit for that. I saw the vision for the Thunder 3-4 years ago. And I saw the vision for the Houston Rockets 2 years ago, and then I went all in on my stock this year when I said they were going to be top 6. And now I believe in them even more after their offseason. I think they are the biggest winner of the offseason. I will put the Nuggets at number 2. They're number 2 best offseason. So we're really just arguing semantics here. That's why we both have good arguments here that people will buy in and be like, yeah, Sid's right. Yeah, Jeremy's right. They'll go back and forth with it because they're 1 and 2 or 1A, 1B. And then you could probably say in the conversation as well as the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks also had a great offseason as well. Orlando is in that tier, like right below those 3. So yeah, these are all great. These are all teams that made great moves this offseason. We started off our conversation with 2 teams that didn't make the right moves in the offseason: the New York Knicks and Los Angeles Lakers. And I'm saying that as a Laker fan.
We'll see what else the Lakers do. Where are you on this LeBron chatter? I don't think LeBron's getting moved or anything.
I think if LeBron wanted to get moved, he wouldn't have opted in. I think he still would have. I think he doesn't need $52 million. Does he really need $52 million? He doesn't need $52 million, but he opted in to basically put the pressure on the Lakers to give him a championship team, because he could have easily opted out. He would have made $40 to $45 million this year with whatever team he was going to. He's missing out $7 million for a guy who's nearly a billionaire.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? Like, he didn't need, I think it's overhyped. It's just a discussion for like ESPN and Fox Sports Net to talk about, LeBron, he could be going here, could be going to the Spurs, could be going to the Mavericks, could be going to the Knicks, all this other stuff. So yeah.
Here's where, I'm with you. I don't think he's getting moved. He doesn't opt in. Usually he opts out.
No, he doesn't opt in.
1-and-1.
Yeah, he signs 2 years. He signs 2-year deals every time.
Now he will be a free agent at the end of this contract. It might be the end of his career. I don't know. I don't think he's getting moved. I do think this is another thing of just it becomes a thing. It becomes a distraction with the Lakers, and God knows they don't need any more distractions. I'm sure you saw the comments of Austin Reeves and LeBron don't like playing with Luka. The circus that surrounds the Lakers is, I don't know how. Lakers fans feed into it, but I really don't know how fans deal with it. I dealt with it a little bit as a Thunder fan with Russ and KD, because it was very much of do Russ and KD like each other? But it was more low level than that. It was still big because Russ and KD were top 5, top 10 players, certainly top 10 players at the time. KD was top 5. So I saw it then with those guys, but it's on a more massive level with LeBron, who is second greatest player of all time, Luka, who is a top 5 player, and the Los Angeles market. It's a huge circus, and I gotta imagine it just becomes taxing on these guys. Like, you're not going to get me to feel bad for a billionaire basketball player, but like, I do feel of like, can we just like do basketball things? Like, do we have to talk, oh, what does this mean for LeBron's future and all of this stuff? The talking points, ESPN talking points, they're so absurd to me. Did you see the clip? I'm going on sort of a left turn, but, you know, not a sharp left, kind of, you know, yield left here. You see the talking point when Dub was on after, like, the day after winning the title, and they're like, what do you think of the Kevin Durant trade? And Dub's like, it's cool. I'm focused on getting ready for this parade. Like, what are you doing asking him about this Kevin Durant trade? He literally just won the NBA championship. Why don't you talk about that? ESPN's got to come up with these talking points of like, oh, how does this affect LeBron's legacy? How can we make this about LeBron and the Lakers and Luka?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Can you make this about the other stuff that's happening in the NBA? He's under contract. Unless he does sign, then, or unless he does get traded, then what are we talking about with this trade? There is no trade. I don't even know what team, like, trades for him. Okay, the Knicks. All right.
The Knicks don't have the assets for that. Like,
but the thing is
unless they're gonna give up Karl Anthony Towns,
they have to make the money work.
Yeah, like that's the only one that I think would interest.
Boy, Towns and Ayton on the same team.
Towns and dominating.
You talking about defense?
That would be horrible. That'd be hard. And Luka all on the same team, like that'd be.
And
horrible.
Austin Reeves, yeah.
That'd be horrible. No defensive IQ. Below
they better outscore teams 170 to 169 because that's how those games are gonna go.
Yeah, and yeah, it's not. And it's senior night. It's not gonna be LeBron announces his last season. No one believes that this is his last season. No one.
No.
Because he showed last year he could still be a top 10 player. So he's at least playing 2 more years at the very least. I think we talked about this a few weeks ago. He's probably going to be around when Bryce comes into the league.
Yeah. I fully believe he will be. I think he's going to stick around until then. So
yeah, he wants to play with all of his sons. He wants to be the first player to play with one son and then the first player to play with 2 sons.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Anything else basketball-wise as we spend the first 50 minutes of this show, as we tend to do, talking about basketball? I don't think there was any other big news bits.
Just a bunch of little bits going on throughout the league with free agency winding down. Everybody's going to sign their contract, I believe, on Sunday or Monday, June 6th, as you said, FKD Day.
July 4th is FKD Day.
Oh, okay. It's also Independence Day.
Yeah. He shouldn't have ruined Independence Day in 2016. I think I've told this story before, but I'll tell it.
Yeah, you did. You know.
My mom texted me. My mom was like, happy 4th of July. And I'm like, Kevin Durant just signed with the Warriors. Fuck this day. And she's like, what? I was like, yeah, this day sucks. I don't care about 4th of July. America's terrible anyway.
America!
It's terrible. So, yeah.
Hey, there's someone on the challenge this season. That's name is America. That's something else we could talk about. The Challenge 41 trailer came out.
Oh, I haven't watched it.
You need to watch it on air.
I'm so behind on the channel.
You need to watch it on air. You need to watch it on air here. Impromptu watch along.
Is what I'm doing? I'm watching the challenge trailer.
The Challenge 41 trailer.
Okay. Hold on.
Because I actually like it because I like whenever they readapt old concepts for the challenge and basically it's fresh meat.
All right, vets and new threats. All right.
Yeah.
I like the song choice.
Yes.
Oh, it doesn't premiere till July 30th? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, well, Leroy back to lose again?
Yo! Thank you! You know I'm going to be on it! You know I'm going to be saying it!
I saw the cast list, because we talked about it, but I forgot all about the cast list.
Leroy, man, Leroy don't ever win. They gotta be a limit. There gotta be a limit. If you like, Anissa's on this season.
Yeah, I
Anissa's
saw
played
Anissa.
19 seasons. 19. There needs to be a cutoff point. Like, if you don't win by season 14, you're out. You gotta go. You gotta go. Like, even bananas.
Oh, okay.
I feel like,
Okay, CT and Turbo arguing. Okay.
yeah. I'm here for that. That should be fun. I do like the cast. I like the cast, one, because Laurel's not there. Two, I don't see this being a season that Johnny Bananas can win. I feel like these new threats are gonna go against the more championship heavy favorites.
I like the trailer. It looked good, but the trailers always look kind of good. So
yeah, that never dictates how the season's gonna go.
Yeah. Shucky Ducky, no, you've missed no wrestling talk. Or
See,
you've
we were
missed
waiting
all the
for you.
non-wrestling talk.
We were waiting for you,
Whichever way
Chucky
you wanna
Ducky.
look at it.
You were waiting for you.
Again, you've either
We even
missed
had
no
Jeremy
wrestling
watch
talk.
a trailer.
Yeah. You've either missed no wrestling talk or you've missed all the non-wrestling talk. One or the other.
Yeah.
One or the other. All right, we getting into. Do you want to talk about wrestling? Sadly.
Yeah, no, not sadly. I thought last night was the best episode of AEW Dynamite of the All-In build. I think that the Arena Mexico show was great, but it wasn't as like focused on building to the pay-per-view. Last week was more of like a maintenance show that was like set up for stuff, but it wasn't the strongest standalone episode. Then you know the 2 4-hour blocks. The Dynamite portion of the 2 4-hour blocks was really good, but it's a 4-hour block, so you have to grade it on the overall show, which goes downhill after like hour 3. Last night was the best episode because we had effective build towards All In. And they went to AEW strengths. AEW strengths is not, a very promo angle heavy show. It's a in-ring heavy show that has some promos and angles sprinkled in. And I think they found the right balance on that style of program. And last night was, I would say, arguably one of their best episodes since like Spring Breakthrough. Spring Breakthrough is still the best episode of Dynamite this year, but this was the best one of the build of All in Texas.
Show closed with Kota Ibushi, Kazuchika Okada, and a rematch from the G1 years ago, where Ibushi broke his arm and was never the same until now. Now he looks like more peak form Kota Ibushi. Okada won as expected. How did it? They can't be doing this Super Tiger Driver as a non-finish.
That was
insane.
I was like, yo, what was he thinking? I felt like this was the best definitely the best that Ibushi has looked since the G1 Climax 31 back in 2021, where he did not do what he was doing back in like 2023, which he was trying to do too much of like his high flying style that he was very known for at his peak. He knows his weaknesses now, and he's kind of staying clear of that, and he's more grounded. His strikes all look good and they look stiff. The little boxing he was doing when Okada was just like, nah. That was a great moment of the matchup. This was a great match. I thought it was a great main event. And like, even I got a message from Jimmy Macaram, who now watches the show at like 3 a.m. in the morning for him, which is like 8 a.m. for me. So I get all his messages when I wake up. And he messaged me. He was like, wow. He was like, I really liked the main event. He was like, Okada was at a 7.5 on the Okada give a fuck scale. And I was like, yes. I was like, I told him that last week. I was like, we're going to see Okada care slightly. He's not going to give you peak big match Okada, but he's going to give you big time Road 2 show Okada. And that's 7.5 on the Give a Fuck scale that only goes up to 10. I think we get 10 at All in Texas, but we got a solid 7.5 last night. He looked good in there. Ibushi was really, really performed at his peak for right now. I think that, over time, as he gets more comfortable and works off the ring rust, we could get more of that athletic style that he was known for a little bit more. He'll have more confidence to do it, but this was the right element of what we needed from Ibushi last night. But yeah, like you said, that Tiger Driver was ridiculous. When he did it, I was like, what the hell are we? Yeah. We're going out like that for a Dynamite. I know it's Dynamite 300, but goddamn, you would have done that at a pay-per-view.
Yeah, the move was fantastic. I just question that's not the finish. You're gonna do that move, and that's not the finish. The other issue I had, because I have to, nitpick, Joel's not here. When Ibushi goes up for the Phoenix Splash, why was Okada cutting him off? That was dumb. He was clearly okay to move. Let him do the Phoenix Splash and move like you did in the G1. Let him break his arm again. Why are you cutting him off on that?
I wish the announcers sold it a little bit more.
Yeah,
I would have liked even if it's Excalibur or Ian. I more expect this from an Ian. If Ian would have been no, don't do it, that's the move that he got injured. I need one of the announcers to have that level of concern for Ibushi, even trying to attempt to go for that move.
Yeah, I would have let him go for the move. And then I would have moved out of the way. Clearly he was okay to move. He got up and he cut him off. Just lay down there a little bit longer. And when you see him jumping, roll away. And watch him fall face first and maybe break his arm again. And then get up and laugh at him. Call him a bitch. You dumb bitch. That's what I would have done. That's just me. But, Otherwise, fantastic match. Fantastic match. Yeah, Kota Ibushi, he might be back. And it's good to see. Because Kota, we said it on the show, he was top 5 before that arm break, man. He was one of the best in the world. But he hadn't been the same since then. And now he looks like he's more looking like the Kota Ibushi of old. And it was good to see. And it closed. Don Callis family comes out after Okada wins. They're going to take out Kota. Here comes old Kenny Omega with the chair. He runs off Archer and Rocky and Okada, but then Trent's going to sneak in behind him, but then Kota cuts him off, and they hit a powerbomb German suplex on Trent Beretta, and they hug, and the Golden Lovers reunite. Where's this going for All In? Obviously, Kota and Kenny are not teaming at All In, because Kenny's facing Okada. Yeah. Is Kota just in his corner? Is Kota in the gauntlet? Is Kota facing Josh Alexander at the?
I think they do it. They do it like they did most of their New Japan Pro Wrestling matches, because I've completed the quest, the gauntlet of finishing the Okada Omega series, and every matchup that they had, each man had a corner man. The first 3 matches, Okada had Gato in his corner. Kenny had the Bucks in his corner. The last match, Okada had Gato in his corner again, and Omega had Ibushi in his corner. So yes, he's gonna be his corner man for the matchup. It's a unified championship matchup, not technically a continental championship. That's a championship match. That's why they haven't mentioned anything about a 20-minute time limit for this matchup. So they can have corner man. So he'll have Kota Ibushi in his corner. Okada will probably have Lance Archer in his corner with Don Callis on commentary.
Oh
no, Callis is going to be on commentary.
Okay. I just assumed that Callis would be in his corner, but
nah, Callis has to be on commentary. He was the best part of. He was outside of the great performances by both men. I think that Don Callis' commentary call on Okada Omega 4 is one of the greatest commentary performances of all time. So we need him on commentary.
Yeah, fair. Yeah. I think he'll be on commentary for the match as well. That's a good call that he's on commentary, and then he can have Alexander or Archer or whatever in his corner. Okay. Good to see the Golden Lovers back. Are we getting a Golden Lovers match next week, you think? Or
maybe Golden. Yeah, I was gonna say Golden Lovers versus RPG Vice or Alexander and Archer. One of those. Yeah, you could do that. Yeah. I wouldn't mind that.
I think it'll be Trent and Rocky. Because obviously Kenny and Kota are winning. I don't think you really want to beat Alexander or Archer. Like, you want to try to keep them a little strong. Rocky loses every single match that he's in. Like, who cares? Rocky can lose a fall to Kota or Kenny. So, yeah, that would be my guess as we get Golden Lovers against Trent and Rocky. Maybe it is Alexander and Archer, or maybe it's Alexander and Rocky. Some combination, Don Callis family. Some combination. Regardless, we should get a Golden Lovers match next week on Dynamite. And like, Lance can lose. They lose all the time. Like, he loses all the time, but I would want to protect him a little bit. At least especially if you have Rocky there to take falls. Like, I understand Lance loses. I get it. But if you have Rocky, just have Rocky lose.
Yeah. They've been smart to kind of steer him away from that, make him just the heavy for the Don Callis family and not be involved in any of the matches really. So I agree. I think that's fine. But I mean, you could do the Golden Lovers on the Go Home show, or they could do like maybe a sit down interview with Omega and Okada, or something a little bit different, with Okada, of course, getting a translation from Don Callis. So yeah, I think they could do something where it's non-confrontational, non-physical, because we had our one physical angle for the build up. So I wouldn't mind them just focusing on like just telling a final build type of story, even though I think the sit down interview build for next week should probably go to Timeless Tony Storm and Mercedes Moné, because that build has been weak outside of the promos. The promos has been the best part. Specifically from Tony, has been the best part of the build. Anytime they've tried to do anything physical, it hasn't felt as important as we originally felt about that matchup when it was first announced. So I could see them, probably doing the Golden Lovers tag team matchup to do the final build for Omega and Okada.
There is a Collision next week. Collision's on Thursday next week,
right,
and it's live as well. So you can do, theoretically, a tag team match on Wednesday and then some type of video package or sit-down build for them on Thursday. I'm with you. I wouldn't, like, overdo the sit-down thing, though. Like, I wouldn't have one on Wednesday, one on Thursday. I think maybe a video package could work. You know what would be good? Maybe it won't be good. I don't know. They do a video package. You mentioned Don Callis being like the translator for Okada. They do a video package, but Callis is the narrator of the video package.
Ooh,
so it's obviously like slanted in Okada's favor. And that's how you do it, is with Callis narrating the video package. So,
yeah,
I don't know. That's just an idea.
What do you think about the Golden Lovers in the AEW tag team division? Because boy, does this tag team division need something.
It's not happening, though. I don't think it's happening. Well, who do you think's going to win between Omega and Okada? Because if Omega wins, I don't think he's going to hold the unified title and then just do tag team stuff. Then what's the point of this unified title if he's just going to be in the tag team division? That's a complaint we always have.
True.
With any promotion, is like, why is this singles champion or why is this tag champion going after another video title or another video or another I was reading Matthew's chat. Why are they going after another title? So no, I don't want a singles champion going after a tag team title. Now if Okada wins, then okay. Then I'm okay with Omega and Ibushi going after the tag team titles.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. Of course, there's also Swerve and Ospreay, but one of these super teams need to join the tag team division, because this tag team, the build to this matchup with Hurt Syndicate and JetSpeed has been the worst. Has been the worst.
What if JetSpeed wins?
It's been both hilarious and awful all at the same time.
What if JetSpeed wins though? Then is the build a
then
little
the
bit
Hurt
forgiven?
Syndicate? No, the Hurt Syndicate lost to some geeks. They lost to some dorks that they've been beating up for weeks. That anytime it's a fair fight, they just get demolished and ran over. It just ruins the Hurt Syndicate. Unless they're going to do a 3-way with the Patriarchy. And then they can beat the Patriarchy to win the titles.
You got to get the Patriarchy in there pretty quickly here. I haven't checked the Collision spoilers.
That's well, they put a post exclusive. Yeah, they put an exclusive where Nick Wayne said he wanted in on the matchup between Kevin the Jet Knight and Shelton Benjamin. Okay. So he's going to be in the matchup. He said he's continuing him and Christian's quest to become the first father-son AEW World Tag Team Champion. So I think they're going to do a 3-way, which makes it more logical and more possible for JetSpeed to win that, or the Patriarchy to win that, knowing that it's a 3-way. Because we know for a fact the Hurt Syndicate ain't losing anything. They can barely lose a fight that's not a legal official contest. If it's a fair fight, they just demolish anyone who's in front of them. This is ridiculous. This is I thought the tag team division had already hit the bottom of the barrel, the abyss of the division. But seeing the only logical challengers for the Hurt Syndicate just get beaten like some chumps, like some bums every week. Oh my god.
Dude, it was hilarious last night.
Get these people on social media like, oh yeah, it showed they have more heart than brains. It showed they're geeks.
I understand what they were going for. They were going for the, oh, look how tough they are. They got heart. You got to kill them to beat them. The problem with it is you've called them losers the entire time leading up to it. You've beaten them up already. They haven't gotten any real offense in on the Hurt Syndicate. So when you do this type of beatdown, it just makes them look like bigger dorks when you do it. Had there been some fight back before, had they beaten the Hurt Syndicate, had they not been eviscerated by MVP on the microphone at every single turn, then you can say, oh, look how like they're tough, they got heart, they're not gonna back down. But when you bury, and then you just beat them down more, you get buried more. That's all it is.
Yeah, Henry saying if JetSpeed beat down the Hurt Syndicate, we'd be burying Hurt Syndicate for getting beaten. No, we wouldn't. If they had just got some offense on them, and then MVP says, not right now, not when we're not getting paid. That doesn't bury the Hurt Syndicate. It doesn't make them look bad. It just gives JetSpeed something. They've gotten nothing. That's the alternative? It's either all or nothing at all? What are you, O-Town? What's wrong with y'all? Stop saying stupid stuff. Stop saying stupid stuff. Because this is ridiculous. There is a line. There is a middle ground here. It is possible. Jesus. Come on, man.
Do you want to sing O-Town?
'Cause I want it all or nothing at all.
I didn't realize
there's no one left to fall when you reach the bottom. It's now or never. Is it all? Or are we just friends? Is this how we live? All right, there you go.
I didn't realize that was O-Town, honestly.
No.
Left turn here again. This is actually a sharper left. Cody Rhodes officially cast as Guile in the Street Fighter film. So there you go. Perfect role for Cody Rhodes. Perfect role for Cody Rhodes. That was a good singing there. SP3. Do you want to do Liquid Dreams?
I want a girl in Janet Jackson style. I don't know the word. I don't know the words of that one.
All right.
That's more upbeat. No,
Yeah.
definitely all or nothing is the better song. It's a power ballad.
Yeah.
Not all the power ballads by like Backstreet Boys and NSYNC are like that strong. Like they have some strong power ballads, don't get me wrong. But all of nothing is on par with those guys' power ballads. Liquid Dreams is not on par with any of the poppy stuff that NSYNC or Backstreet Boys have done. So it's not the better song.
Liquid Dreams was the bigger hit, though, right? Like that was.
Yeah, because it was the first hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the first hit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was coming off of Making the Band. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. The tag team division AEW. Anyway,
we always take this sharp left.
The tag team division in AEW, it exists. It just exists right now. Kota and Kenny, if Kenny loses, that's a real threat to the Hurt Syndicate. Those are real threats to the Hurt Syndicate.
Yeah. Ospreay and Swerve, real threat to the Hurt Syndicate. And that would finish off the Swerve Hurt Syndicate storyline.
Yeah, I remember that. Lashley just beat him and then it never went back to that at all. All right, well, let's talk about Swerve and Ospreay. So the Young Bucks, they have a tag team match with Takeshita against Bandito and Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong. This match absolutely rules. I'm going to nitpick. Here's my nitpick. I hate I don't know if they were the first team to do it. It's the first time I really recall it, though. I think it was definitely FTR. And I can't remember if it was FTR DIY or FTR against Gable and Jordan. But it's the spot where you do the pinfall and you like spear the partner into breaking up the pinfall. You know that spot?
Yeah. It's very telegraphed now.
Yeah. That's every tag team match now. And they did it on this one after that great sequence that should have been the finish. Once again, where they destroyed Bandito with the TK driver tombstone and all
it's basically like a bastard driver version of the TK driver because Matt launched Nick into the air for the spike on Takeshita doing the bastard driver. And I think Jimmy McArib said he loved that trios match as well, but he was like the match should have ended though on that first one. On that first triple team they did. And that was great. I love the EVP power drive knee. That was awesome at the end, but I agree. Like that was probably the peak of the matchup and they just kept going.
That was the peak. And then the Bucks just stand there and then here come Roderick and O'Reilly and they get them in like a front face lock and then they have to hold it because the count's only at 1. So then they have to hold it for a second. So that count hits 2 and then they fall into the pinfall. It's such a telegraph spot nowadays. And I feel like it happens in every single big tag team match. Yeah. And it's not just an AEW thing. It's a WWE thing as well. It's like every big tag team match, they do this spot and it just annoys me. I'm like, the first time I recall seeing it was FTR against one of the teams that I mentioned. I don't remember if
it's probably Gable and Jordan.
Yeah. But now they do it in every single match. Like, can you just not either break up the pinfall or let that be the finish? Like because that should have been the finish last night. That was such a great sequence.
That was the best match of the night. That was just PWG. Crazy all action balls to the wall type of matchup, and that Ontario crowd was one of the better crowds they've had for Dynamite. They had 5,000 in there, so it was one of their bigger crowds for Dynamite in weeks, and they were loud for that one. They were on fire for that one. All the back and forth, you get super kick, then O'Reilly doing the Nigel comeback and hitting the lariat on both guys. That was awesome. Takeshita coming in, hitting the world-class forearm. O'Reilly selling at the end was incredible. He sold the world-class elbow like it was like death. He was limp at the end when he got the EVP power drive knee, and then Takeshita still had to lift him up for the raging fire to finish things off. Just awesome. All 6 guys were on fire here. Roderick Strong's looked great the last 2 weeks. The last 2 weeks he's been in the match of the week or match of the night with the fatal 4-way last week, and then this week he looked really good. Kyle looked great. Yeah, like I agree with Henry. Like the Paragon has just been delivering over the last couple of weeks to the point I'm just like, why aren't they in the tag team title picture? Like, I've been saying this for months now, that they should have been one of the challengers for Hurt Syndicate. You want Hurt Syndicate to have a good matchup? Put them in with, you have one of the best tag teams of the decade in Undisputed Era in Paragon, O'Reilly and Roderick. Like, just put them in the tag team title scene. Why don't you? Bandito has been on it. Bandito, I have not seen anyone like go on an excursion in Mexico and come back this good. He's like a top 10 guy in AEW now because he's had all these instant classics in Mexico, whether it's the Mascara Dorada matchup or the tag team match with him and Hologram versus Dorada and Mystico, and then the Mystico matchup had that incredible atmosphere. And then he's come back here in the last 2 weeks. He's also been a part of the 2 best matches on Dynamite of the week, and he delivered in this matchup. Can't wait for him and Takeshita. Him and Takeshita alone make Supercard of Honor a must watch. Then when you add Athena and Thunder Rosa, that's a 1-2 punch that makes that a must watch show coming up next Friday. So like, yeah, they have just really been delivering over the last few weeks. And the Young Bucks, man, Young Bucks, they found their mojo again. Like a lot of people thought they were too lazy or something when they were doing their stuff last year, and they were just fronting when they did the interviews late last year into this year when they were saying, "Oh, we were doing that on purpose." They apparently were, because now they come back and they've been killing it. They've been killing it. They look like the best tag team in the world today, and they're going to be on my ballot for best tag team of the year, probably by the end of the year if they could keep it up.
I think the demise of the Young Bucks was very exaggerated and overrated. Whether or not they were like, we don't want to do all of this stuff because we need to be heels and we need to not give them this exciting stuff, or they were just like, we're about to go on vacation. Who really cares right now? Which I respect. I respect that. Whatever it was, I never thought like, oh yeah, the Young Bucks are just washed. Like, all right, maybe they're not performing at the level we're used to, but they're still really good. They're still really good, and proof here, they're still really good. And I had no doubt about the tag team match at All In that it was going to be really good. Anyway, they do. The Young Bucks win. Young Bucks and Takeshita win. After the match, Swerve and Ospreay come out. They run off the Bucks, and then Ospreay says, well, both of them are kind of talking, and they like put the EVP titles on the line. We don't want the EVP titles though. There's only one, chairman, and it's Tony Khan. We want to give the power back to the fans, all this stuff. And then the Bucks say, you got to put something on the line. And Ospreay says, we won't challenge for the world title for a year. And Swerve's like, what, huh? And then Ospreay gets Swerve on the same page. And so it'll be Young Bucks against Swerve and Ospreay. If the Bucks win, Swerve and Ospreay can't challenge for the world title for a year. And if Swerve and Ospreay win, the Bucks are no longer the EVPs. I like the 1 year mark. Cody Rhodes is rolling over in his grave that they added a 1 year mark.
He's like, I could have just did it for 1 year. Yeah. Damn it.
I didn't have to go my entire AEW run. I could have put a 1 year mark on there. Shit. I like the 1 year stipulation because it's believable. Right?
Yes.
Because had they done, we can never challenge for the world title again. It's like, that's not.
Or if they put their career on the line, which I thought they were going to do. Yeah, it then becomes a foregone conclusion that Swerve and Ospreay is going to win. This stipulation makes it possible that either team can win.
Yes. Yeah. It's a believable stipulation. Because as others have pointed out, 1 year gets you to All In back
To
at
Wembley.
Wembley next year, where Ospreay, the year would be up, and he could go for the title. And honestly, I don't necessarily need Swerve or Ospreay challenging for the title within the next year. Now they easily could. You can always insert Swerve and Ospreay into the world title picture. But it's okay if they're not in the world title picture. They got enough top tier talent that can be elevated into the world title to where you don't need Swerve and Ospreay there. Let's say Hangman wins the title. Swerve can't challenge him for a year. He's got to watch as Hangman holds that title. Now, we all suspect Swerve is going to help Hangman in this main event. Like, we all suspect that's going to happen. But that doesn't mean their issues are just done. Swerve's still going to feel some type of way about Hangman. Hangman might shake his hand, might give him a nod of respect, but they're still going to feel some type of way about each other. Swerve having to watch Hangman with that title, knowing he helped him, knowing that he can't go after him for a year. There's a good story there with that. Very good story there with that. So it's a believable stipulation that I'm kind of torn on, because I think you can do good stuff either way. I actually think there's more to do if Swerve and Ospreay lose.
I'm actually rooting for the Bucks to win now.
Yeah. Like, I actually think there's more to do if Swerve and Ospreay lose. Because if the Bucks lose, okay, they're not EVPs. But, like, the EVP stuff has been very inconsistent. At best, it's been inconsistent. They could do more with it. I think they've done a better job with it lately since this return. But there are some instances where it's like, well, why don't you just make that match? You're the EVPs. Or why don't you just already make the stipulation that Swerve and Hangman can't challenge for a year? I guess they're just overruled by Tony Khan. But they've been inconsistent with it. And if they don't have it, it's like, all right, what are we like really losing out of this? Here's where I'm going to get really wacky on USB3. Now you love all my great ideas. The Bucks lose. The Bucks do lose this match. They're no longer the EVPs, but they have something with the Death Riders, right? There's something there. They do the big cinematic 50 run-ins in the main event. The Bucks are there. They get cut off by a Swerve. Blah, 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 blah. It looks like Hangman Page is going to win. He hits the buckshot lariat, but it's Gabe Kidd. He pins Gabe Kidd. Here comes Jack Perry to literally spike Hangman Page, get the victory for John Moxley.
You started it off with like making it try to sound different, and then right back to the thing you been saying for about 2 months now.
And the Bucks are aligned with the Death Riders. They might not be EVPs anymore, but you know what they got? They got the world title, and that still gives them power. And that is how they still have power. They can still hold the company hostage along with Jon Moxley because they got the world title in the briefcase. That's what we're doing. That's how the Bucks still have power despite losing.
Outrageous. Outrageous how you set that up.
This is my finish. I'm not backing down from
He's
this
like,
finish.
I'm not flinching.
Nope.
I'm not flinching.
This is the finish, brother.
Oh my god. I'm interested in either result. I think that it's good when things can go either way, and I think that's what's making everybody kind of get into the bill for All In, especially with the main event with Moxley and Hangman, is that it is believable. You have people like you that just think Moxley's gonna win again because basically
Moxley's gonna win. I hope people know. I want to make this. Go ahead.
Sadi Yagi put it best. He was like, he just believes that Tony Khan is a man of his word. That he went to Darby. He was like, you go climb that mountain, sir. You put the flag at the bottom, and you come back, and you'll be world champion. You'll be safe. Just like
I have said on this show plenty of times, it's a mistake if Hangman Page does not win this match.
1,000%. 1,000%.
You are gonna get a riot in Texas if Hangman Page does not win this match. But for me personally, what do I think is the funniest outcome? It's a Jon Moxley victory. What's the funniest way Jon Moxley can win? Hangman Page pins Gabe Moxley and they think he wins. And then Jack Perry comes in and costs Hangman. That's hilarious to me. That's absolutely hilarious.
I hate it so much. I can't lie to you.
That's why I'm going with it.
I hate it beyond belief.
That's why I'm going with it.
Of course you are. But yeah, we got to talk about the opening segment, which gave us a new stipulation. They added some bigger stakes to the main event of All in Texas, as it will now be a Texas death match. Okay, so you want to tell them what happened, and then I'll give you my one big gripe about all of this.
What happened was Hangman Page came out and he's like, I want to face you in Texas death. And Moxley came out and he said, people say they're the best in the world, but it's all bullshit. And he's like, I'm not going to face you in a Texas death match because you're not ready for this. And I'm like, didn't y'all already face each other in a Texas death match?
That's my one big problem, is that no one mentioned that Hangman beat Jon Moxley in a Texas death match. No one mentioned it. Not Hangman, not Moxley, not the announcers. The announcers should have been the one to say it. If the two guys weren't going to say it, the announcers should have said, Moxley says he's not going to take this matchup because Hangman doesn't really want it, but you can call him out, call him on his bullshit and be like, no, he actually doesn't want this because Hangman beat him in a Texas death match before. That should have been the reasoning that the announcers at least said.
Hangman kind of alluded to it as like, I'm willing to go to lengths. Like, I thought that was the allusion to, I've beaten you in a Texas death match. Now, it could have been an allusion to, I've burned down people's houses, so I'm willing to fight you in a Texas death match. But yeah, I was like, all right, Moxley rejects it. Like, you guys have done a Texas death match. It's not like this is out of the ordinary here. I would have had Moxley just... And the other thing is, like, when Hangman takes him down, he's like trying to wrestle the fork out of his pocket and everything. I was like, oh, this looks kind of weird and awkward. Yeah. I don't know about this. I would have had Moxley accept the challenge and mention, you have beaten me in a Texas death match. And that doesn't sit well with me. Like, I know the lengths you are willing to go to, but you don't understand the lengths that I'm now willing to go to as the leader of this company, as the man who needs to protect this company.
If this is the whole big culmination of this whole rivalry, he could have went back from the beginning of the whole storyline. Be like, you're not willing to go to the lengths that I'm willing to go to. I put a plastic bag over a man that I called my friend, that I called my brother. I stabbed people in the hand just to motivate them to go out there and realize their dreams. I did this, I did that. I stabbed myself with a damn spike in my back to retain the AEW World Championship. I've bled buckets in steel cages. Like, he could have went through it all. Hopefully we could get some of that maybe next week if they want to do a kind of a real kind of promo exchange, because this was really Hangman issues the challenge for Texas Death. Moxley responds, and then he slaps him and the brawl was on. So they did that, but that's not really a promo exchange. If they can do more of a promo exchange and bring up the fact that they have faced in a Texas death match and that Hangman hung him and made Moxley tap out, the only time he's tapped out in AEW is against Hangman Adam Page, I think that means a lot more than what we were presented. I like the opening segment. I thought it was enjoyable. It was very entertaining. Hangman just feels like a very much a hero. He feels like the top babyface. He feels like someone that the fans should rally behind, that he's gone through these things. He's on this redemption arc. He feels like a very flawed character, but a very real character to root behind. He's stoic and he's determined to win the AEW World Championship, and a lot of that is believable and good to get behind. Moxley, he could be hit or miss. This was somewhere in the middle of hit and miss. I don't know if this was a hit or a miss with his whole response. Like I said, I wish that he would have brought up, like, I think we both addressed what he should have said in this situation. Him just keep going to, oh, the pressure's too big enough. It's too big for you. You can't make it that high up the mountain because the reason that you won at Double or Nothing is because it was right here. I like that part of it, but he could have added more to it by talking about the previous Texas death match that they had.
The whole you can't make it to the top of the mountain, like, Hangman's been the champion.
Yes, that's also true.
Like, Moxley's promo didn't really hit with me because the stuff he was saying didn't reflect what Hangman has actually done.
Yeah.
So, like, that's a good promo to cut against Will Ospreay. Is it's like, yeah, Ospreay
or Darby Allin.
Yeah, like, that's a good promo to cut against them. Hangman's been the guy in the company. Hangman's beaten you in a Texas death match. That's why Moxley's promo didn't work for me. I'm with you. They have next week. Moxley can be a very good promo when he has the material and he has the focus. He has the material. We just mentioned a lot of the material, but they gotta hone that in.
Focus.
Yeah, they gotta hone that in and focus it on that, because right now the focus is all over the place with what Moxley is saying to and who he is saying it to. Yeah, this promo works against Darby. It works against Ospreay. This promo doesn't work against Hangman.
Yeah, I like Hangman's part of it. I thought Hangman was really good in this segment. Him just standing up after he was beaten down by the Death Riders and then holding the title hostage to get his matchup. And then him giving the buckshot lariat to Marina Shafir was probably the highlight of the entire opening segment. Just saying, I'm willing to go this far. I'm willing to do this. And just gave her the buckshot, took her head off with that. That was a nice little moment. I like the Ops coming out to have his back, even though I was like, yeah, I should have came out like 5 minutes ago when he was getting his ass kicked by Claudio Castagnoli. But, these are little adjustments that could have made this a perfect opening segment. That's why I'll just say I enjoyed the opening segment, but yeah, it definitely has its stuff that it needed to smooth out to have a better go home segment next week.
Do we think they do something different at all in the sense that, I mean, Hangman alluded to it. I mean, he even said it. He's like, you got the Death Riders. I already know they're going to come out. So let's just do Texas Death. We're all kind of assuming they do the cinematic run-in match. Do they mix it up? Do they not do all of the run-ins? Do they just do a straightforward Texas death match and Hangman wins, or the funny outcome, Moxley wins?
I think if they just do a regular standard Texas death match, then it's just gonna... It's already going to get compared to their last Texas Death match, which is one of the greatest Texas Death matches in the company, probably second greatest behind Hangman and Swerve of their Texas Death matches. It's already going to get comparisons to that one. If they just try to do the same one where they're one-on-one against one another, then you're just driving more to that comparison type of thing. And you have set this whole thing up as this to be this run-in fest, and everyone's involved, and the portal opens, and here comes the Avengers, and Ospreay with the shield saying Avengers assemble and help Hangman get the win here, help Tony save the world. Like, you've already set it up for that. I think that if they don't deliver on it, then you are going to be letting a lot of fans down. And I think there's going to be some fans in that crowd even that might not be into everything that they're going to put down prior to people coming out and getting involved.
But if the payoff is Hangman wins, I don't think people are going to be disappointed.
No,
however
they're
you
not
get
going
to
to be
Hangman
disappointed.
winning. However you get to Hangman
as long as
winning.
it's Hangman winning, yeah.
All right. So the real finish shouldn't be the run-in fest.
Oh, God. Here we go.
It should be Hangman Page hits the buckshot lariat on John Moxley. There's no run-ins.
Mm-hmm.
All right, folks? There's no run-ins. He hits the buckshot lariat on John Moxley, and he's going to set up for another one. And Moxley, he's like grabbing at the ref. And then a hooded figure with the black hoodie comes out, and he spikes Hangman Page. And John Moxley rolls up Hangman Page. Hangman stumbles into the ring. Moxley hits him with a schoolboy. Love a good schoolboy. 1, 2, 3. That's it. He doesn't need to hit the paradigm shift or whatever he calls that move now.
So a schoolboy's going to end the biggest match of the biggest.
Well, Hangman gets hit with the spike.
Oh, okay.
He gets hit with the spike. It's a legit spike made out of pine cones. Leave a thumbs up for this great idea. And then...
Yeah, there's also no pins in a Texas death match.
Hangman taps out on the schoolboy.
He's in the schoolboy. He just taps out.
He just taps out.
He's like, I'm never getting out of this. I'm never getting out of this.
His body weight is too much to hold me down. Fuck, I can't get up. He's been hit with the spike. He can't see. He's bludgeoned on all of this. He's like, I can't take it anymore. This man's weight is too much on me. John Moxley gets up. He hugs the hooded figure, and the hooded figure takes off his black hoodie, and you already know who it is. SP3. All of Texas is jacking off because Jack Perry is back, baby.
That's ultimate ejaculation.
That's the finish.
Why are you this way?
I have great ideas.
You wanted a Texas death match in the main event of the biggest show of the year.
Yes.
To end in a schoolboy submission.
Yes. Tell me who else is coming up with these ideas.
Thankfully, no one else.
Tell me who else.
Thankfully,
coming up.
No one else, sir.
With
no one else.
A schoolboy submission. I'm an innovator out here. SV3.
The innovator of violence.
Yeah.
Violence of wrestling ideas.
I'm innovating out here. I would love to book the NWA. I've already talked about me booking the NWA. I want the ROH pencil.
Everybody doing coke all the time.
Yeah,
What did you think about Mercedes Moné versus Mina Shirakawa? Mercedes retaining the TBS championship post-match. Timeless Toni Storm came in after Mercedes attacked Mina, and she turned her back on Mercedes for some reason, and then Mercedes hit her with the title, laid them both out, and then licked Tony's cake. Not that one, but her actual cake, vanilla frosting.
Not that one.
Hey, some people will hear cake and be like, Mercedes licked Tony's cake. Let me watch this show. The one with the icing on it. But I really enjoyed the matchup. I thought it was a great match. I thought that they started off a little bit clunky and it wasn't flowing too well, and then it just picked up as the time went on. And by the end of the matchup, I was like, oh, that was great. That was Mina's probably best work since she officially signed with AEW. Slightly better than the Toni Storm matchup at Double or Nothing. So great opener to the show here. I my only issue with it is I don't like the post match. I don't like the fact that Toni Storm kind of had this look of like fear or intimidation throughout the matchup, and the post match I thought was very lackluster. They could have done something else. Like you could have had her attack Toni and handcuff her to the ropes or something, or tie her up in the ropes and then beat down and bloody Mina to really add some heat to this matchup. It felt very rushed and felt very lazy with the post match. And overall, I think that this build up to Mercedes and Toni with 1 week of Dynamite left before the matchup has really left a lot to be desired.
The post match was like a nothing thing to me. I expected something way different or just more on the post match. Like, oh, Mercedes won, and then she cut off Toni, and then she threw champagne at Luther. Okay.
Or and you had the cake. I thought she was gonna put the cake in Toni's face, which is a callback to why she left the other company. Maybe you don't want to make a reference to the other company, but I thought that would have been great because a lot of the original promo was about the fact that they have crossed paths before, and she would just be like reminding her of something else that's happened to her in the past, and it wouldn't be the first time that they referenced the cake stuff with Toni in AEW.
Yeah, that was baffling to me too. I was like, oh, you have this cake. Even if you don't know it's a callback to Toni Storm in WWE, it's just wrestling booking 101. You have a cake, someone goes into the cake. Like, what are we doing out here? It was just a weird post-match that I don't think anybody looked great. I definitely didn't think Toni looked great in there. I would have just preferred if Toni just sat there and then Mercedes confronted her, and then like Toni could have flipped the cake into her. Like that would have been fine. But Toni getting taken out after Mercedes just did this match, and then no cake involvement. I was like, oh, what? The build for this is, the promos have been good. The matches, when Mercedes has wrestled, when Toni has wrestled, like that's been good. But the physical interactions between them have not been good.
Yeah, just something missing.
Yeah. It's a weird thing. It's weird, but we'll see if we'll see where they go next week with 1 week. Look, maybe they go to the cake next week. Maybe that's where they go. But it feels like a missed opportunity.
Yeah, you need to do a sit-down interview. Toni kills it in those sit-down interviews, so do a sit-down interview between them.
It felt like they were trying to be too cute with the cake.
Yes.
Because, Mercedes like teased like hitting Luther with it and then just did the champagne instead. It felt like they were like, oh, everybody's going to expect the cake, so we're not going to give them the cake. It's like, no, just do the cake spot. That's why it's there.
Exactly.
Again, Wrestling Booking 101. You have a cake out there. Someone goes into the cake. This is not difficult to do. And it gets a pop every single time. Like, look at this person. They got cake on their face. Like,
and then my other big nitpick on the night overall, it's the 300 episode, guys. We can't get a clip. We can't get a video package of the first 299 episodes. Yeah, maybe that's a little too glad handy or whatever. But that's a huge accomplishment. At least make it feel like some type of anniversary show. It feels like you've done more for your anniversary shows and then episode 250 than you did for 300.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you need to celebrate every 50 episodes. Like,
no, I don't think they should have done 250. I don't think they should have done the 250 episode or anything like that. But they could have done something for 300.
Like, at what point does it become too much where you're just celebrating, like, oh, 250, 300, 350, 300? Like, every 50 is too much. I think every 100 is
You can call it Dynamite 350, but you don't have to do any celebratory things. 250, they did do something. They did do a video package of the past of AEW. So how are you doing it for 250 and not for 300?
Well, maybe that was the thing, is they did it for 250. And so 300, they're like, we'll call it 300, but why do we need to do like a video package? Because we just did it for 250. They did put a video package online. Like, I did see that.
Yeah.
But if they did it with 250, I don't know if you need to do another one 50 episodes later. Like, at this point, I think you just go, you can do 750, 1,000, obviously. 500, by the way. I
500,
yeah. 500, 750, 1,000. And once you hit 1,000, then it's every 500. Then it's 15 and 2 and 25. 30. Like, that's, and then anniversary, I guess. Like, you got to do the anniversary episode. Yeah. But even like 6, you can do 6 anniversary. Call it that. But you don't need to do a big celebration on 6 anniversary. Then it's every 5 years with the anniversary. Then it's 10, 15, 20 type of thing. But yeah, once you hit like 300, again, you could still label it 300, 350. Like, it's a cool thing to do, but you don't need to do celebrations for every 50 episodes. That's a little too much.
No, that's fair.
It's a little too much for me. All right, anything else from Dynamite 300? We had the Casino Gauntlet Battle Royal, whatever.
That was really good as well.
Yeah.
Brody King was awesome. He rules. He rules so much.
I hope they have something for him. Like, it felt like it was going to be him and Buddy for the tag titles, but then Buddy unfortunately got hurt. Brody can be a singles guy. And I just don't know if they're going to put him in that spot. Like, I hope they do. If Buddy's back soon, I'm all for them being the tag team that the Thrones hurt Syndicate. But I don't know when Buddy's coming back. We'll see. But Brody's good. MJF won, and Mark Briscoe came out afterwards. It's like, it's going to be me and you. 1 and 2.
He's got a pick. He's got MJF has a tiny kosher pickle T-shirt.
Do you think Alicia Toots gonna wear like a shirt during her interviews of like, she already tweeted it's not tiny? Do you think she's gonna wear a shirt like MJF does not have a tiny pickle?
No, she doesn't have to put MJF has not as. She's like, she just has to wear a shirt that says not tiny.
Not tiny. Okay.
Not tiny.
That's fair.
We'll get the reference. It could just be subtle like that. I this was the first time that I could remember AEW, especially doing a promo segment to set up another promo segment.
Yeah.
Sure. As they'll have a talkie talk, which that's how Mark Briscoe put it. A talkie talk next week between Briscoe and MJF, since they're 1 and 2 in the Casino Gauntlet. I know there's a lot of people that were like, they wish that Mystico cost MJF this matchup, and did Mystico and MJF at All In Texas. But it was very telling that they did not mention anything about the MLW return. So I was like, this is for CMLL.
I didn't necessarily think they would mention anything about the MLW return. Obviously, if you were going to do MJF and Mystico at All In, you would have to mention it, at least you would think. But that wasn't too surprising. Them not doing MJF and Mystico at All In is where I'm like, feels like you might have missed on that one. Because that's a hot angle. And that's a big match, especially in Texas. And you're not going with it. Like, maybe they couldn't figure it out. Don't know. Clearly, it looks like it's just a CMLL match now. And maybe Mystico gets back on AEW TV and they do run something off of it. But if it's just a CMLL match, then AEW's got to focus on their big show next week.
Mystico is on Collision on Saturday. Collision 100. Yeah,
Okay.
he's in a 6-man with Hologram and
That's even more
Mark Briscoe.
baffling then.
Mark Briscoe's in it too. So you're putting two of MJF's enemies on the same team against Hechicero and Roppongi Vice. Yeah, I agree with Henry finally. He says they need to advertise Mystico if he is going to be on the show. Yeah, I want them to announce like some of the people that are going to be involved in the all in the men's casino gauntlet, because I could see Mystico being a part of that and coming out and getting revenge on MJF that way, and that builds more to the CMLO. It's probably the anniversary show. I called it when they did the angle at Arena Mexico that they were probably setting up for the anniversary show in September. I think they're going to do that there. That is going to be Mystico and MJF hair plugs versus Mass.
That's baffling that Mystico is on Collision 100, which was taped last night, and wasn't part of like the angle last night, or I guess he'll be part of the Casino Gauntlet. But clearly they're not doing MJF and Mystico at All In. That had to be a concession of CMLL gets this match.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how AEW doesn't do that match at All In if they could do that match at All In. Because, I mean, they did the match at Grand Slam Mexico, which was an AEW show. So, yeah, just all right. We'll see.
Yeah. Matthew mentions that they got only 6 matches announced for All In. This is a spoiler alert, so if you don't want to hear the spoiler, just skip 10 seconds. I'm not going to really spoil it, but I'll just tell you. 7th match is going to be a TNT title matchup. And probably, I think we saw last night, despite my transgressions about the segment, we're going to get an AEW World Tag Team title match as well. So that's going to be 8 matches.
Oh, yeah. That I mean, the World Tag Team title match, like, that's already official, if not official. Yeah, I assume Adam Cole will be defending the title. I don't know who he's defending the title against. Likely Kyle Fletcher? I mean, I have not read the Collision spoilers. Again, I want to make that very clear. I've not read the Collision spoilers. I did see that Adam Cole is doing story time with Adam Cole on Saturday. So, but Kyle Fletcher makes the most sense. Fletcher's facing Garcia on Collision. I assume Fletcher's winning that match and setting up to challenge for the TNT title. I don't know who else you're looking at as a TNT challenger if it's not Fletcher. That's the match they've set up.
Yeah, and then maybe we get because they had 9 matches on the main card for last year's All In. We could probably get one more match if they want to do something with FTR. Give them something to do because Christian nuked their original plans. So I predicted last week on AERM. I don't know if I predicted it here, but I said it's Cope and the Outrunners versus FTR and Stokely.
I feel like Cope comes back for this show. And maybe FTR does. Oh, I assume FTR is beating the Outrunners on Collision. The Outrunners, they had their moment at the end of last year and they kind of missed the boat on it. I'm not saying you had to put the tag team titles on them, but you could have done a little bit more with them. Should have done
more with them. Then, at least the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles.
Yeah. So they had their moment. It feels like FTR does some type of like open challenge bit with at All In, and Cope returns and answers. And maybe that you do Cope and the Outrunners against FTR and Stokely there. Otherwise, I don't know who Cope is teaming with. I think I threw somebody out on yesterday's show, but I already forgot who I threw out. You know what it's going to be, though. You know what it's going to be. You know what it's going to be. I think it was Paul White. We said Paul White should be his teammate. I got one better than Paul White. Oh, no. We said Jericho as well, but Jericho returning here doesn't make sense.
No.
Like, as just because he's already got something coming back. Although a long-term Cope and Jericho team, I think, could be a play. But you know who... Let's say FTR does open challenge. They say we're the best tag team. Any tag team out there want to come fight us? Here comes Cope. Gets a big pop, in Texas. Everybody's excited to hear whatever his theme song is nowadays.
On this day.
Oh, yeah, okay. You know who his partner is?
Who?
SP3.
Who?
The greatest wrestler alive from Texas. Gotta clarify. Because otherwise it'd be Max Caster.
Yeah.
The only man in AEW to hold 2 championships.
Oh, God, no. Dum 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 dum
The
dum
son
dum
of Texas. Dustin Rhodes, baby. Dustin Rhodes is the
partner.
Dustin Rhodes is the partner for Cope. So we get Dustin and Cope against FTR.
I already saw where that was going. When you said the greatest wrestler from Texas, I already knew where you were going.
You gotta get more Dustin Rhodes. What does every show need? More Dustin Rhodes. Dustin coming out and he's like, "You guys like to drink your whiskey and tequila? I've been there. I've been where you've been. I've been to hell, and I saw Satan drinking his tequila. And I smacked that tequila out of his hand. Just got him smack you boys in the face right now." That's it.
I've looked in the devil's eyes. I've breathed down a shark's teeth.
That's his whole promo. Anything else from Dynamite?
I think that was mostly it from Dynamite. I think we touched on all the main points from the show. Good, very great show last night. Great show.
Yeah. All right, is it time to go to the C-suite?
All right. It's time for the C-suite. The C-suite. It's time for the C-suite. The C-suite. It's time for the C-suite. The C-suite. It's time for the C-suite, where we watch C-level WWE shows in the C-suite. All right. We got WWE LFG Season 2, Episode 2. We had the teams being made. So I believe on Team Michelle McCool, she picked both of Booker T's, both of Team Booker's old people, as it got Anthony Luke and P Nasty on Team McCool. She also picked up, I forget who she picked up. I know Booker picked Harlem Lewis from WWE EVOLVE. Yes, we got another multiverse situation in the C-suite. More of it, multiverse action, as Harlem Lewis is on Team Booker here. So I was very happy to see him. He's a monster. He's a Reaper, so it's gonna be a good one there. Of course, Bubba Ray. He knows his meal ticket, so he decided to pick Xena Sterling. Then you had The Undertaker picked Shiloh Hill, so his plan worked to make Shiloh look as worse as possible, to make sure that he could pick him in the first round, so he picked up him. Then Booker T, he actually surprised me in the second round, and he picked Chris Island on his team. Chris Island, who was on Team Mickey last season. He sees a lot in him, so he wanted him on his team. Bubba Ray picked Elijah Holyfield. Elijah Holyfield was a little upset that The Undertaker didn't pick him because he was on his team last season. So he's got a chip on his shoulder going into the second season. Then The Undertaker picked up with his second pick. He picked up Danny Selensky, who was a part of Team Mickey last season. She's the girl that asked him to use the Hell's Gate, so he wanted her on his team. Then Michelle McCool in the third round, she picked Trill London. Trill London, who's another multiverse person, Jeremy, another person from Evolve on LFG. We see what's going on C-Suite. We got multiverse activities. You don't get this on the main roster, y'all. Then you get Bubba Ray
all the time in the main roster.
Yeah, so it means nothing. It means something here.
Oh, okay.
It means something here.
Right.
Bubba Ray Dudley, he then picked Hayes Jameson because he said he likes his Jameson. He just likes her last name, basically. Booker T then picked Serena Linton, who was on Team Mickey last season. And then The Undertaker picked Bailey Humphries. Every one of these people are dumb. How did y'all not pick Bailey Humphries? She's a beast. She's a beast. She's bigger than everybody on this show. What are y'all doing? Are every one of y'all dumb? Michelle McCool with her last pick, she picked Summer Sorrell, who's a new person on LFG this season. Then it came down to Booker. He picked Tatiana Dumas. And then it came down to Bubba Ray. He had two choices. He could either pick, he had two of his guys from last season. He had Drake Monroe or the West Coast Gangster, Sexy BJ Ray. And he goes into the ring. He stares them both down. And he's like, he looks at both of them. And then he looks at Drake. And he's like, how about we do this again? And you know what Drake did? He said, nah. He said, no. He said, no, you picked BJ last season. You should stick with your pick. I'd rather go with Team Undertaker. I was like, Drake Monroe, you're no longer Roxanne's boyfriend. You're no longer Roxanne's boyfriend. You are now Drake Monroe. Yes, I respect him so much. Yes, put Bubba Ray, Bully Ray, whatever Ray you want to call him. He could be any type of Ray. The only Ray that matters is Sexy BJ Ray, who's back on Team Bubba. He's now focused. He's here to do his thing and talk all his trash in the confessionals, but he's going to keep his mouth shut when he needs to. He knows how to pick his spots now, but Drake Monroe is on Team Undertaker. So those are the teams for this season of LFG. You got Team Undertaker with Shiloh Hill, Danny Selensky, Bailey Humphrey, and Drake Monroe, formerly known as Roxanne's boyfriend. You got his missus, Michelle McCool, who's got P Nasty, Showtime, Anthony Luke, Trill London, and Summer Sorrell. You got Team Booker, who's got Harlem Lewis, Chris Island, Serena Linton, Tatiana Dumas. And then you got Team Bubba, who's got Xena Sterling, Elijah Holyfield, Hayes Jameson, and Sexy BJ Ray, who was in action on this episode. He went against Harlem Lewis. And BJ Ray actually got better in the ring, y'all. He got better in the ring. He's actually doing well in the ring. He made Harlem Lewis look like a beast, look like a monster. He looked good in that matchup. Then you also had, I believe, what was the other matchups that they had? That was the only matchup that mattered to me. So that's all I got to say about that. Danny Selensky was also in action. I just forget. I think, yeah, she faced Hayes Jameson. Then Shiloh Hill, I believe he faced Trill London on this episode. And then Summer Sorrell. It was Summer Sorrell versus Danny Selensky, and Bailey Humphries faced Hayes Jameson. So I think that this week the point went to Team Booker for Harlem Lewis, and I believe Team Bubba for Hayes Jameson, if I'm not mistaken. So that was it for this week for LFG. Good episode. I like the teams that have panned out, and Bubba Ray getting played was the highlight of the night. He got played. He played himself, but he got played. Then you had WWE Evolve, which was headlined by Divinity Project. The top faction in all of WWE. Move over, Judgment Day. Move over, Timu Bloodline. Move over. We're never going to give you a name, Seth Rollins and your band of bronze. We're never going to give you a name. Vanity Project, they got a name in record timing. They were headlining the show, but unfortunately they lost in the matchup. Lindsay Dorado picked up a win with a shooting star press for LWO and Lindsay to pick up the victory here. Now Lindsay Dorado will be getting a future shot at the WWE Evolve Men's Championship. The opening to the show was Jamar Hampton, who's got the best theme song in the game. Boom, 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 boom. The whole crowd be clapping with it. It's like a whistling song. I don't even know how to do it, but it just flow with it. It's got a rhythm to it. Oh man. He came out, Jamar Hampton, aka Troy Yearwood of LFG, some crossover for you. He went against Idris Enofe, who picked up a win with a cross arm neck breaker. So Idris Enofe following up on his heel turn here. Then you also had some more crossover as Jin Tala, aka the artist formerly known as Layla Rell. She picked up a win by cheating. Yes, she's cheating now. She's a heel now. Picked up the win over Layla Diggs. We also had some setup for some matches next week, as it's going to be Keanu Carver continuing his path to destroy WWE ID as he first player coach. He's going to face player coach Timothy Thatcher next week. And we also got the main event for next week. We got a contract signing with Callie Armstrong. Callie Armstrong, future WrestleMania headliner, Callie Armstrong and Natalya. They had a contract signing. Natalya up here saying that, Callie Armstrong been rude to her. What are you talking about?
She snatched the title from her.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's rude.
No, it's not. That's her title. She's like, give me the title. Why are you holding on to my title so long? Why are you staring at my title? You know what's rude? You know what's disrespectful? Tagging yourself in when I'm doing all the work. That's what Natalya did to her. The audacity of this woman. It says, I'm sick of, she was like, I'm sick of hearing people saying they're holding the division on their back. How about you hold up the division on your back for 18 years? When did Natalya hold up the division on her back? When she trained people? Yes. Congratulations on training people. It wasn't anything we saw on camera.
She's done some lifting of the division. I don't know about holding it. She had a lot of help holding it, but she was there. You know when
always
you got
had a bigger star. There's always been a bigger star. The Bellas were bigger stars.
You know when you got like 10 people to carry like a couch or something, and everybody's got like, you got a person on 4 corners and then 2 on the sides and everything. Natalya is that person in the back that's like also like kind of holding it up. Like if she wasn't there, the couch would still move just fine. It'd be okay. But she's there. She's contributing.
All right. All right. That's fair. That's fair. But man, this whole promo pissed me off. And then they made Callie look like a chump because she tries to punch Natalya, and Natalya double legs her and puts her in a sharpshooter with heels on and makes her tap out like a chump. It's like, God, what are we doing to Callie? Come on, man. Don't do Callie Armstrong like that, future WrestleMania main eventer. Come on. But that was WWE Evolve this week. Fair enough episode. Nothing to write home about because I'm upset that they did Callie Armstrong like that. How dare they? How dare they, WWE? Gabe Sapolsky. Come on, man. All right. That was the C-suite, y'all.
There you go. The C-suite. Everybody. Another successful trip inside the C-suite. Lab Glass did some super chat. It says, O-Town pool is too deep not to be appreciated. That caught me off guard going with O-Town there. Shout out to SP3 for taking this step further and singing as well. I respect it. SP3 is a man who knows content, you know? You know what I mean?
That's a clip right there, or a short.
I didn't clip you singing. I don't know what I'm going to clip today because apparently Coexisting is today, everybody. And Spotlight today, so...
Because they didn't want to do July 4th.
Yeah, so I'm doing a show tomorrow for July 4th. Cowardly. Not doing a July 4th show.
You're doing it with Joel, so he's going to talk about TNA a lot, so I don't know if that counts.
I know. It's kind of terrible. TNA talk. I gotta watch this show, I guess.
Damn.
Maybe. I don't know.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry about your damn luck.
We'll see if I end up watching it or not. I'm trying to think what else is on tonight. I don't think there's anything. No basketball to watch.
Ring of Honor.
To watch.
The build to Supercard of Honor. Riveting build to Supercard of Honor.
Okay.
Maybe Takeshita's on tonight's show. Who knows?
Dalton Castle back yet? Where's my
Or
man
maybe
Dalton Castle?
maybe he's returning at Supercard of Honor.
Maybe. They did the video for him. It's like, all right, when's he actually coming back? That's all I want to know.
New Japan's got a show tomorrow morning.
New Japan does have a show tomorrow morning.
Yeah. El Desperado versus Kosei Fujita for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Come on, Kosei. Get the win. I think the Gabe Kid Tanahashi match, isn't that on Sunday?
Oh, is that? I thought it was July 4th.
I thought it was the July 6th show.
Oh, you could be. You're probably more right than I am. I'll check. We don't want misinformation here.
Yeah, we don't want to misinform people out here.
No, it says Tanahashi Tiger Mask is July 6th.
Oh, so you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So double main event.
Yeah.
Double main event.
Look at me. Sometimes I know the New Japan. Yeah, we got the play-in matches as well for the G1 tomorrow. Oh. Good stuff. Zeno Hour with breaking news from Shams. Dallas Mavericks assistant Jared Dudley is finalizing a deal to become the top assistant for Denver Nuggets under David Adelman. There you go. Jared Dudley was a great role player in like 2K because he had really good defensive stats. He was a 3-point shooter as well. Like he was the ultimate like stretch 4 in 2K. He was great. Loved picking him up. Just had him to those Thunder teams.
I remember. I used to always pick him up if I needed like a 10th man on my bench.
10th man? How you gonna do Jared Dudley like that?
10th man.
How you gonna do Jared Dudley like that? Love Jared Dudley.
When I'm honest.
I've successfully bullied Inside the Ropes into giving me a graphic.
Really?
Yeah. So they played,
how'd you do that?
You know how these other news sites, they'll take like what Dave says. Usually it's just Dave. Sometimes it's Alvarez. Sometimes it's Sean. But it's always Dave. And they'll take like his opinion and put it as like a news thing of like, oh, Dave says this person is not being booked well. Dave says this is the reason for this title match not happening. And it's like, Dave's just like watching the show and seeing these things, right?
Yeah.
Like everything Dave says, they turn it into like news. And I don't understand it, but sure, that's what these news sites do. So Inside the Ropes put out a graphic. Dave Meltzer believes WWE are messing up a potential star in Thea Hale. Do you agree? They got a graphic out here, SP3. They got Thea Hale with the quote from Dave, "She's wasted. She's wasting. She could have been on the main roster and gotten over." Dave Meltzer on Thea Hale's NXT run. They made a whole
when you've been saying
graphic.
You've been saying that for months.
Yes. So I quote tweeted it and I said, "I've been saying this every day. Where is my graphic?" So they responded, and I'll put this up here. They responded, fair play to them. I gotta give them credit for making this graphic. Here's the graphic that they made for me. Hold on, let me get this uploaded. So again, fair play to them. They made me a graphic.
Jeremy on, Dave Meltzer on.
Fair play to them for making that
I say
graphic.
this every day. Where's my graphic?
Every day
awesome.
I call out Shawn Michaels for his booking of Thea Hale. Every single
awesome.
day. Been saying for months Thea Hale should be running this division. Been saying for months Thea Hale should be the undisputed WWE champion, not just the NXT Women's Champion. Why? How come I don't get graphics by Inside the Ropes Wrestling? Why not?
Awesome. I gotta give Inside the Ropes credit. Shout
No,
out
I
Kenny McIntosh.
Yeah, I responded to them. I was like, I respect it, and then I retweeted the graphic.
Very nice.
I respected it. Yeah, been saying you're a nerd. He's got a better memory than me. A year, say for a year. I was calling out Shawn Michaels. The match against Roxanne Perez was a year ago at Great American Bash. She had a great match, and then she was off television for like 6 months. For a year, I've been saying, what the hell are they doing with Thea Hale?
They never give her love.
They don't. Why don't these other news sites give me a graphic?
It was kind of egregious on this week's show. Like, we're just making her into a loser.
I got issues with Shawn Michaels. Don't let me on that next NXT media call. Because I will
shoot from the hip on him, brother.
Yep. Like, Shawn, I watched that terrible last match you did in Saudi Arabia.
I recently did.
Yeah, I recently watched that match. It sucked. Why is your booking of Thea Hale the same as that match?
Oh, man.
That's my question to Shawn Michaels.
Question: why is your booking of Thea Hale as bad as your first and only Saudi match?
Shawn, who had a better performance? Kane in that last Saudi match or your booking of Thea Hale? Because they're both trash.
Perfect.
Shawn doesn't want to see me on that media call. He's gonna see my name. He's like, oh fuck, this guy's gonna ask me about
He's
Thea
like,
Hale.
oh god. It's like I better start booking Thea Hale better. Or I'm in trouble.
That's Tony Khan's inner monologue of when he sees me. I tweeted him or on the media call. He's like, oh god, another question about Jack Harlow and Blake Christian.
Here we go again.
All right, folks. We'll be back tomorrow. Joel and I will be back tomorrow.
Yes.
Since Joel's Canadian, he doesn't care about American Independence Day. Fair enough.
No, he doesn't.
SP3 and I might be back tomorrow. Watch along for Goldberg matches. Okay, we'll nail down time.
Worst of the weeds.
Yeah, we'll nail down a time. That'll be in our Select Discord. So head over to Fightful Select. If you sign up, you can go to the Discord. Go to the In the Weeds channel. We will have the link there for the watch along. So we'll be watching Goldberg matches, folks. Classic Saudi Goldberg matches. Not just any Goldberg matches. No. We're watching the Saudi classics.
Saudi
Goldberg.
classics. Goldberg.
Coexisting is today at 3 p.m. Eastern with Rob and Maggie, so check that out. Spotlight is back after like a 3-week hiatus, which is
goddamn
all my fault. I think it's all my fault.
Because you went to Game 6, and what was last week's reason?
Last week I drove to see my mom.
Oh, yeah.
So
yes,
I did not feel like doing a show after a 9-hour drive. I was just exhausted after that. 3 weeks ago, though, was also my fault because the Thunder had just lost Game 3, and I was depressed. And I don't care about wrestling. What do you want me to do? I'm depressed, dude. Yeah, Rob, I saw you in the chat. Did you delete the Giannis clip?
Oh, yes. Call him out.
One.
Call him out.
You're culprit number 1 right now, Rob. I don't know if you're still in the chat, but I might have to make a special appearance on Coexisting to call out Rob Wilkins for deleting the Giannis clip.
I'm going to watch just for that.
Tune in for that. All right, SP3, let them know where you're at.
Follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. I will be live in about 40 minutes with Jimmy Macaram over on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel to talk some more about AEW Dynamite. he actually seemed like he enjoyed it a little bit more than usual, but of course he will find something to hate because he is Jimmy Macram, and hate is just in his blood. It's his natural feeling when he wakes up in the morning is misery. So join us for that. He will address his enemies coming up at 1:05 p.m. Eastern time. So join me and Jimmy for AE Ramble over on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. Join me and Jeremy tomorrow for Worst of the Weeds. If you're a Fightful Select supporter, $6 a month, the best $6 in the game. Get your news, and you could follow along with us and watch live as we watch the Goldberg Saudi Classics. And True Hill Heat Sports and Entertainment, we got BMF Season 4, Episode 4 review dropping today. Yesterday, I had the Ironheart Season 1, Episodes 1 through 3 review. Later this weekend, I'll have Ironheart Episodes 4 through 6 review because I just finished that series. And I also will be doing The Bear Season 4 as well. Did you watch The Bear Season 4 yet?
I'm 8 episodes in. I got 2 more left. Much better.
Already better than already better than season 3.
Yeah. The wedding episode was fantastic.
Wedding episode is one of the best episodes.
Although I don't know,
and the Sydney episode.
The Sydney oh yes, yeah, where she's hanging out with the daughter.
With her cousin.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that's a very good episode as well. The wedding episode was fantastic. Although I don't know where they got table that big from. And like 80 people.
I was like, that table did not look that big when they were outside of it. And then when they go in, it just keeps expanding. And the fact that I love the fact that they just throw in these famous movie stars to be the Frax siblings versus John Cena in season 3. That was Brie Larson in season 4. It's great. Yeah. It's great. I don't listen to the critics. Season 4 was much better than season 3.
I haven't seen what the critics said because I don't want to read anything and get spoiled or anything like that. So I haven't looked at reviews. I don't really care what they say. I thought season 3 was not good. Like nothing happened in season 3. Immediately in season 4, it's like, oh, stuff is actually happening in this season.
The only episode worth a damn in season 3 is Napkins, the one about Tina.
Yeah. That one was really good. But yeah, season 4 so far. Again, I got 2 episodes left. I think, I don't know if they're good or bad, but the season already is better than season 3. And I do have high hopes for the final 2 episodes of season 4 based on how this season has gone. So we'll talk about The Bear. We can do it next Tuesday. I'll definitely watch the final 2 episodes by next Tuesday.
Sounds
so
good.
We can talk a little bit about it. All right. People get more mad that we don't talk any wrestling when it's me and you, SP3. All right, folks. Again, we'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow with Joel. I'll be back with SP3 watching Goldberg Classics from Saudi. I'll be on Coexisting today at 3 o'clock, addressing my enemies, Rob Wilkins and Maggie, to see if they deleted the Giannis clip out here. All right, folks. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, in the weeds.